Yo, how's it going? In my previous video I covered offense, starting offense and my favorite ways to approach an enemy with Gigas. And in conjunction with that video, I'm gonna start a new video or create a new video, and that will be what to do if you're plus, what are your best options if you're plus, what are the safest options and the best reward out of those options. It can be quite tough to know what you have to do if you're plus, maybe you gave away your turn for no reason, maybe you did it for, in your opinion, a big reason or a big reward. But Gigas has some options to also play safe and also continue his pressure if you're plus on block or plus on hit even. So in today's video I'm gonna cover my favorite options, and yeah, hope you liked it. Alright, so my favorite tools to start my approach and also easy plus frames are two tools in particular, and also those are the tools I use to condition the enemy to block. And what I mean with block is, you do it on block and then they just know it's your turn because the move really looks plus. So as a great example, while running 2 is just my favorite. You can do it pretty easy back to back. It's +7 on block, and the animation looks super plus on block. Kinda similar with back 1+2, but it's not as similar as while running. But those two moves are my two favorite moves to use to give myself plus on block. Also, a very big problem with Gigas at moments is, cool, you're plus on block, but what is your best option to check if your opponent is willing to press a button? Trying to contest back with maybe a down jab or maybe a down for one or even a normal jab. My favorite tools to use to check the opponent's retaliation mostly is down forward 4, because it's safe on block, -3. It is +4 on normal hit or +3 on normal hit. This changes if it hits as a counter hit, so if they did something, it also gives a different animation, so I know they pressed something. So let's compare again. This is normal, and this is counter hit. And it also gives +9 now. Normally it gives +8, but it's not a very big change. And my last selling point on this move is it jails on counter hit. So 44 damage, which is a bunch. It forces crouch and is +5 on hit. So nothing to sneeze at, right? Good damage, it's safe, it's mid, they can randomly down jab it like for 1+2. This is a high. I know it's fast, it's 13 frames fast, and it has amazing counter hit properties like this. But if they try to steal back your momentum with a down jab or a move that crushes high, this won't work. So that's why down forward 4 is one of my favorite tools to use. So if you did down forward 4 1+2 on block, you might already know that this also gives Gigas one frame advantage, one plus frame, and it also forces crouch. This is one of the most common things that happens with me in like a normal situation. In the neutral, if I hit this on block, I'm +1 now. But Gigas does not have like a very good tool to use if he's +1, and it also forces crouch. If it didn't force crouch as an example, I could have done like a command grab. But if they stay down, maybe they did a down jab again, or they do a full crouch move because this resorts them into crouch, the grab will whiff. My favorite and best options if this hits on block, so this is my kind of like a start to let you guys know what I do with my plus frames, and this is one of the most common things that happen with me in any situation. The first option is do nothing, and this sounds maybe weird because I said start your offense, but it is pretty common to see that someone is willing to press something here. If this hits on block, most of the time you'll see a retaliation with like while standing moves, maybe a down jab. Down jab is very common for some reason, my experience playing this character. And also some characters have a while standing 10 frame, like Lee's while standing 3-3, that is a 10 frame. So for me it's just the safest to see what the opponent does. If they do a while standing move, then I know for the next time I can actually counter hit it with something else. If they do a down jab, I can low parry it, or I can go for like a very fancy up forward 4. So let me show you what I mean with this. So now I've recorded Gigas doing down forward 4 1+2, and I'm Hayachi now. So if I see that I'm in crouch and I try to down jab, I can low parry it. So let me show you what I mean. This happens quite often. So this is one of the options I mean with just check what the opponent does, and if they do a while standing move, then I know for the next time I can do down for 3 1 + 2 for like a counter hit launcher. So let me show you what I mean with that. Alright, so now I recorded Gigas doing down for 1 + 2, and then he retaliates with down for 3 1 + 2. So this won't beat 11 frame while standing or 10 frame while standing moves, but it will beat 13 and 14. Hayachi's while standing 1 is 14 as an example. So now I'm gonna do this. So now I'm gonna match 1. As you can see, that's a counter hit launch. So that's also something I like to do, but again, you have to scout first what the opponent does. So the second option I like to do after hitting down for 1 + 2 on block, which is for me again pretty common to see, is a down jab. It actually sounds very stupid maybe, but for me it works because it's like super quick. It's 10 frame and it beats all while standing options and their down jab. So as an example, if I do this on block and I hit that, if they press a button, this gives +5 on hit, or +6 even, for what I know. It is +6. So let's do something like +6 after you hit someone if they did something. Gigas wins. I mean obviously because we're plus. There you go, we win. So now we are +6 because we hit a down jab, and Gigas has quite some good follow-ups after hitting a down jab. While standing 1 gives you +5 even. While standing 4 if they try to contest back, because again you're at major +6. So nothing they did there could beat it. You also have down jab into while standing 2 3 hit confirm now. That's also a new option. Like that. But I mostly go for the safest route, which is while standing 1. While standing 1 is just safe. It gives huge plus frames in my opinion, +5 for being an 11 frame mid. And also on block, if they block it, your turn is over, but it's not -9. It is -7. As you can see there, it's -7. So it actually is possible to power crush through 12 and 13 frame moves if they do something back. So that's also something I like to do. Also fun fact, if you hit while standing 4 on counter hit, or on normal hit even, on a groundbreaking stage, it will actually launch. So you have access to a 13 frame while standing launcher. So let me show you that real quick. Alright, so now we're at the Forgotten Realm, and if I hit my down jab into while standing 4-2, that will ground break. So I can show you right here. There you go. Into just a regular combo. You know, that's a very shitty combo, but as an example, it is possible to actually launch the opponent if they contest this after a down jab. And the last option I have for you guys after down for 1 + 2 on block is if, again this is mostly on a hard read, but if you know that the opponent knows that they are in full crouch and they will go for like a full crouch move, same rules applies, then you can go for down for 1 + 2 to launch it. So as an example, I'm gonna swap characters real quick. So here I recorded Gigas doing down for 1 + 2 into another one, and I'm now again the Hayachi player, and we have a full crouch sweep, you know, for the guarantee 4-4-2 as an example. So let's try that against this Gigas. Alright, because that hits as a counter hit, you have like +5 for its crouch, and it does huge damage. And the other option is down for 1 + 2. And it launches, of course. So that might be something you didn't know, maybe you didn't know. Now you know that you have options after hitting down for 1 + 2 and the last part of the whole string on block. Again, let me summarize it. For me, the safest way is to just check what they're doing first after doing it on block, and from there you can integrate like a down forward 4 or maybe down forward 3 for a bigger risk but also big reward, a launcher. And for 1 + 2 on like very hard reads when they do a slow while standing move like a 14 frame Hayachi, or like even this, you know, while standing 3, or a launcher if they try to maybe launch you back or something, then you can go for 1 + 2 for an easy safe counter hit tool. Alright, so now I'm gonna start talking about my common scenarios when I'm plus. So what I mean with that is there are certain moments that I'm plus after like a jab, a jab on block is +1, or if I hit my down back 2 on hit, which is +3, or stuff like that. Your key moves on hit, what does it mean? What does it do when it hits? And also maybe on block, while you hit your while running as an example. What is, in my opinion, your best moves to use? Because +7 is very solid to have. +7, +3 even is manageable. We can do stuff with +3 as a Gigas player. So let me cover my common situations when I'm +1, +3, +4, +5, and +6, and +7 on block. So the first one goes to your jab, right? You're +1, so you have things to do here, in my opinion. You do have options to go for if you're +1, because +1 means your down for 3 is 12 frames, and it's also a mid. +1 also means that your command grab normally is like 11. Now it's as quick as a jab. That's why I love to go for a jab into a command grab. You can buffer it in between. It's as quick as a jab now. So yeah, this is one of my favorite things to do after being +1 on block. And why down for 3 here? It's again 12 frames quick. So if I actually did like a down for 1 there, which is 13 frames, I will still beat it. And this gives me +4. And of course, for the extreme, you can even launch. So this is like a pseudo 12 frame mid launcher we have after hitting a jab on block, which is very easy to do for solid damage. This is wallless, by the way. Alright, and the next plus frame scenario, which is pretty common, is +3. So as an example, if we use down back 2, you're +3. Down back 2 is one of the most common lows to use as well. Same goes for down forward 4, which also gives you +3 on regular normal hit, and forward 4. If you didn't overcommit to the whole string, but you hit the first segment, it will give you +3. So from here, my favorite options are pretty simple, and maybe you already know, but it's always worth mentioning. So if you hit down back 2, go for down for 3 1+2. But this is only on a hard read, again, you have to condition them first to press something. And how you do that is also pretty easy to do. If they love to be a little bit turtle-ish, which I understand because you got hit, then you can condition them with back 2. You see what I'm going for? If they just stay there and block, you can go for down back 2 into like a back 2. So now maybe they're like more willing to press a button, and that's where it comes out to go for like down for 3 1+2. So if they try to maybe like jab or something, or poke you with down for 1, and you hit this on normal hit, that will launch. Also, fun fact, if they try to jab you here, if the down back or down for 3 hits on trades, you'll get a free 1-2. There you go. So again, if you read that they will jab, or if you've seen that it trades with a jab, you'll get a free 1-2. You don't have to bail on this because this might be very rare to occur. But at moments, if you're facing against like a Kazumi that likes to jab with, to check with a jab as an example, or like a mirror Gigas, then this is actually something you can check out. And also, if you hit down back 2 on hit, and it trades with a jab with forward 1+2, so you do down back 3 into forward 1+2. Okay, that beats most of, I think, all the options, and it trades with a jab. And if you trade with a jab, you'll get a free down 2. There you go, for pretty damn solid damage. So again, this is the same as down for 3 into a jab trade. It is rare because you have to bail on that the enemy has to jab you when you hit the down back 2. It is possible, especially the down 2 trade, because you see like the screen is zooming in, it freezes, so it has actually like a visual cue that you traded. With a jab, it is not like a visual cue, so you have to see what happens. But on the down 2 trade, on the other hand, you see that the screen freezes. So maybe you can practice that on your muscle memory and then go from there. Other options I like to do, oh by the way, that 4-1+2 trade tag also works with all the other moves that gives you +3. So like 4-4 into 4-1+2, if they jab, it will trade and you have a free down 2. So this works, down forward 4 works on hit, so that's also something you might like. So if you want to play a little bit more safe, but you will be 1 frame slower because it's 14 frames instead of 13, so they can jab you out of this. But again, it's safer, it does huge damage, it's a mid-mid, and forces crouch +5 on hit, and if they block, it's +1 for you, if they don't interrupt the string, because it's possible to interrupt the string. The other one, but I don't use this all the time, but it's actually pretty fun to do, is down back 2, because it's +3, into down back 4. So what happened there? First of all, this also high crushes and is 14 frame quick, making it an 11 frame low. Alright? And a counter hit, however, it gives you +3 instead of -2 on hit. So again, from here you can go for like while standing moves. And my favorite is while standing 1 because it's safe, gives you +5. But it's also possible to go for your while standing 4. That will happen, and if it trades with a jab, you'll get a free launch. But again, don't really bail on this because it's kind of rare to see happening. You know, it's rare. So for consistency, go for consistency and go for while standing 1. +5 is just nice to have instead of bailing on this being -11. You know, this is -11, so that's why -12 even. Yeah, it's -12. And the follow-up is -14 even. Not even 13, 14. So, risk reward I would say for while standing 11 or while standing 1. Because it's 11 frames. And also gives +5. Alright, and at +4 we have down for 3-1. Believe it or not, didn't jail in season 1. This was like, you can duck the second hit on hit. Imagine. But now, you know, it's a 13 frame mid starter, giving you +4 on hit. So that also opens up the previous mentioned frame traps, but also it makes it better because this down forward 4 is a 14 frame mid, and down back 2 gave us +3, down forward 3-1 gives us +4. So that means this will trade with a jab as an example. And again, this is like, maybe I'm a little bit repetitive, but this on counter hit or on trade with a jab gives you free launch. I'm not gonna show because, again, in my honest opinion, it's a rare occasion. So it's cool and all if it works, but don't bail on it. So that's why I'm happy to show that if I hit this, that will happen. That's cool, you know. Maybe again I'm repetitive on the down for 1+2, but for me, it's just so consistent. It has long range. It's mid and it gives so much plus frames on hit and damage on hit. So that's why if you're +4, you can go for all the previous mentioned options. So down for 3-1+2 for launch, or if you want to play safe, do it again, you know, do the string again. Or down for 3, well, down for 3-1 if you hit it on hit, for down for 4. It's a thing. I love to do this. And what else gives +4? For what I know, it's down for 3-1 and while standing 2. While standing 2 on its own, if you don't overcommit, it's +4. So that's also nice. So while standing 4 into down back 4 as an example is a thing. You see that? If I mash it, gives us +3, and we high crushed. So if they did like a high string, you high crushed it, giving you a counter hit down back 4. So that means +3 instead of -2 on hit. Just nice, you know, while standing again from there. You can go to town from there. One of my final options, if you're +4, this might be a bit risky, but 4-2. And why I say it might be risky, because it's not like a true jailing kind of frame trap, because you have 12 or 2 frames in between, because 4 and 16, so you have 2 frames in between. But it launches, you know, and it's also safe on block with even extensions. But this is also why I said risky, because it's a high. I don't really like high counter hit tools because they can get crushed pretty easily. You know, even if they didn't try to crush it, some moves just auto crushes highs, or they can down jab, or they can go into like a full crouch move. So that's why it might be a risk in my opinion. Maybe not for you. If you like this move, go for it. But for me, I will, in my opinion, go for like down forward 4 1+2, or down forward 2. You know, down forward 2 is also an option if you're +4, because you can hit confirm it, and it gives you a knockdown. It's not a launch, you know, I get it. It's not a launch, but it's less risky to do, in my opinion, because here, if you hit this and you don't want to overcommit with the down forward 2, you know, because it's not like really hit confirmable, because you don't see when it is counter hit or not. So I can show you what I mean. This is normal hit, and that is counter hit. So it does not have like a different animation. But if you want to play it safe, you can go for this, and now you're +6. You see where this is going? It's just a chain of being plus. So that's why forward 2, it's a thing to do, you know. It's a thing to do, but for me, in my opinion, down forward 4 1+2 just wins. And same goes for down forward 2. Alright, so at +5 we have different tools again. And this is an occurring thing. Every frame trap from the previous mentioned moves you can also integrate with more plus frames. So +5 means you can still go for like a down back 4 because it's 14 frame. You can still go for down forward 4 1+2 because it's 14. And also you can go for down forward 3 1+2 because it's even 13 frames. So now let me show you what all +5 tools are. Forward 2 1, the last hit gives you +5. It's a high, but you have a mid extension as well. So this is number 1. Number 2 is down forward 4 1+2, the last part. That also, you know, if you hit it on counter hit, the whole string jills and gives you +5. And back 1+2 on its own is also +5. And the last one, which is my favorite, is while standing 1, because it's your 11 frame punish. And an 11 frame punish that gives you +5 with Gigas, I like. So what I also have to mention is, if you hit a big hitting move, a hard hitting move, and maybe you don't want to lose your turn, you know, so as an example, I'm gonna put him on guard all here, stand here, and I hit the last hit of this string, the down forward 4 1+2, and you don't want to overcommit to like a down forward 2 to maybe potentially lose your turn like this. You can try and integrate back 2s on your frame traps. And what I mean with on the frame traps is, normally you would frame trap them with down forward 2 1, but now you can cycle to like a back 2 as an example. So this hits back 2, and now they're in a different situation. Instead of blocking, they have to guess a 50-50. This is also something, this is different matchups, you know, Jin can parry both options, but that's where the mind game starts. We can do nothing out of the walk up. We can go into a delayed unblockable. We can go to like an instant unblockable. So that's why, at moments, this is a rule of thumb in my opinion, if you don't want to resort for frame traps, what I totally understand, you can go for back 2, you know. Oh, this hits, back 2, why not, right? Down back 2 hits, back 2. Forward 4 hits, back 2. Instead of relying on a frame trap, you can go for back 2s. If you hit something, don't be afraid to exert pressure again. What I mean with this is, go for something that is plus. You don't always have to go for frame traps for a knockdown or a launcher. In the long run, it means more to go for like this into maybe plus frames. This into back 2. Back 1+2 into back 2. You can go for back 1+2 into a while running 2. Into another one. You see where this is going? Try to give the opponent more pressure. It might be hard to do, because I'm fucking up as well now. But shit like that is what makes a difference with Gigas only relying on frame traps, and Gigas that really puts the opponent in a situation that they are like, fuck, I'm still blocking, I want to do something, and then you can go for the frame traps. So as an example, if I do this, it's this, to while running 2. Now they want to press something that will launch. You see where this is going? everything here is plus. As an example, at +6 we have down forward 2 on normal hit, so you don't have to overcommit to the follow-up in my opinion because it gives +6. So this means you can actually go for down forward 2 into another one. If they try to interrupt this, the next hit will hit them counter hit. Like that. You see that set counter hit. You can also go for 4-2, but again it's in my opinion a little bit risky because it's a high. Same rules as before. But it's worth going for at moment. If you really know that they're gonna press something, go for 4-2. It will counter hit launch them. So yeah, again, at +6 the same rules applies on the previous frame trap rules. So you can go for down forward 3 for a counter hit launcher there. If you want to play it safe, you can go for down forward 4-1+2. So if you want to put an additional layer of offense, so not relying on frame traps only, you can go for down forward 2 on hit into back 2. You know, from there you can go from here. You go into like a jab, into a running check, or something like this. Oh, they're plus, or they're blocking the jab, right? So now I can go into the grab as an example. You can go for down forward 2 here into like a jab into back 1+2, back 1+2 into. So it is mostly not relying on the same kind of flowcharty way to go for a frame trap. That you're +7 does not mean you have to always go for the same tool again, right? It is actually better to just, if I put this guy on guard all, if you hit your while running 2 here, hey great, you're plus and the enemy knows, and if they don't, then you can go for an easy frame trap. But if they do block it and you do this as an example, you actually lost an opportunity. And what I mean with that is, if you did this, you should have, you could have gone for like a back 2 or like a charge 4-3-2. So that's why it mostly, in my opinion, really matters if you alternate how you use your plus frames. If you use it like willy-nilly, okay, I'm +7, now going for this, well, it's -9, your turn is over now. You do have extensions, but this one is -3 and you can duck the high, and this one is not safe at all. It says -2, but it isn't. So again, for you it is really about conditioning the opponent first. You know, if you do a while running, just check what they will do. So that's why I prefer down forward 4 for that reason. If I see that they just guard, then I know for the next time, okay, cool, I can exert pressure with like back 2. So let me put this on guard all again. Hey, cool, they didn't press a button because they didn't get hit or not even counter hit. So now I know for the next time, cool, back 2 inbound as an example. If I see that they will press a button after being like -7, that will counter hit. And even if I didn't overextend to like the whole string, I saw that it's a counter hit because it's a different animation on counter hit. And now I can go for like back 2s if they're willing to block the follow-up. And if they don't, they will get a problem. They will get hit with like a different frame trap. So as an example, stuff like that can happen because again, this gives you +9 on counter hit. So yeah, to summarize everything I said today on this video, Gigas has its tools to condition the opponent to press a button, but also the tools to show them that they have to block. Maybe he doesn't have a threatening low, I know, but for me as an example, I love down back 4. It's a 14 frame low that is +3 on counter hit. It is -2 on normal hit, but again, it's 14 frames, it's quick. So you can actually use it as a counter hit tool because it's so quick. And the same rules applies with like if you hit your while running on block, you're +7. You have a plethora of moves to check your opponent with. Oh, let me check with down forward 4 if they do something. If they did, now I know for the next time I can go for like the whole string, or maybe for down forward 3 1+2 for an easy launch, or forward 2 for like the high safe launcher. Even from your jabs, if you do a jab on block, you can go for the command grab, making it the 10 frame grab. And same goes for everything I mentioned, like down back 2 gives you +3. It does not mean a lot because it's +3, but you have down forward 3-1 to play safe. You have down forward 4 1+2 to play a little bit less safe, but gives you also big profit, you know, on hit. Now for 4 1+2 counter hit string is great, in my opinion. Yeah, that will be it for today. If you have any questions on this topic, you know, if you have problems giving yourself a better time with Gigas, as in, hey, I'm plus, so now it's my turn, I totally understand, because it's kind of common to see that problem with Gigas. You know, you're plus, but they did something and they still won the situation. But that's why I tried to make this video for you guys, because for me, what I mentioned now actually really works. Especially down forward 4. I might be a repetitive move hoe now, but for me it just works wonders. You know, especially with the buff. I actually used it pre-buff, even down forward 4, and it already worked pretty good. But now with the buff, you know, that it jails on counter hit, it's amazing. And try, you know, maybe like a personal tip, if you don't do it, and be honest with yourself, because I had to be honest with myself as well. If you're plus on hit or on block, don't always go for frame traps. It's nice to see the knockdown, I get it, but in the long run, again, it will mean so much more if you mix it up with like a back 2, or like a while running move, or a back 1+2 on block. Because if you hit something on hit, you might be +5, but maybe you overextend with down for 2-1 and now you're -13 and they can punish you back. But if you did, same example, if you did like down for 4-1+2 and you're +5, and you know that they will be a bit more defensive, you can open them up with back 2, you know, open up the defensive play they have. And if they're more offensive, you know, they try to contest you all the time, then you can go for frame traps. That is mostly how I use my frame traps. It is not to start my offense with just frame traps. It's mostly for hyper offensive players. Maybe now you know why I don't use frame traps all the time, because for me it's not the biggest reward and profit to do, and also not worth, because again, maybe I overextended and now I lost my turn. So yeah, and again, man, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comment section below. And I'm still thinking about what I'm going to do on the next video, because I have some ideas, but I have to figure out how I will do it, you know, kind of format, how I'm going to record it and stuff like that. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.